Hey everybody, it's Mr. Sutton, and I'm here to talk about the sixth principle of animation, which is called slow in and slow out. And I'm going to demonstrate how we can do that in Scratch in a moment. Basically, what slow in and slow out means is that when anything gets started moving, you need to start out slowly and then build up momentum. It's called acceleration. It's a math and science term that talks about when things build up speed until they get to their proper speed. So you start driving a car, the car is starting at 0, it doesn't right away go to 30 miles an hour. It'll go to, in the first few seconds, 5, 10, 15, 20, all the way up to 30 miles an hour. And then when you're driving 30 miles an hour consistently through the middle of the action, that's fine. Now you're coming to a traffic light, you don't just jam on the brakes and stop on a dime like that from 30 miles an hour to 0. You hit the brakes gradually and the car slows down. And that's the same with pretty much anything that moves, anything that has movement. So then it goes from 30 down to 20, down to 10, down to 0, and then you're stopped by the traffic light. So if you animate and you don't think about those principles, that things kind of build up speed and slow down at the end of an action, then your animations will look not natural. So let's take a look and see how that applies in a Scratch animation. Okay, so here we have the Scratch interface, and we're going to hit Create to start our new project. I'm going to give it a name like always, Slow In, Slow Out, Sutton. All right. So now, let's think about let's get rid of the cat. I'm getting bored of the cat. Let's put something else in here. Do we have any cars in here? Oh, there are cars. There's just not a category for it. I just typed in car and I got a car. So let's do this. I don't know why the shark is considered a car, but let's go with the convertible. So we're going to add the convertible in. Let's pick a background. Let's see if there's anything with a road. Alright, we can put that in. Alright, so let's get the car on the road. And let's say the car is starting out over here. So it's off the screen a little bit. Right? And we're just going to have the car move across for this. And of course, I want you to do something more complicated than this for full credit. So one way I can make this car move, and remember we select the sprite, we're going to go to the motion blocks. And we can just have it go, bring that on, and let's say move 200 steps. And if it moves 200 steps, it's gone that distance, it's all one speed, it doesn't look natural. So let's think about a different way that we can do this. So let's set the car back here again. And I don't want to do that every time by hand, so I'm going to have it go to that position first, always, starting at that position. Now, we have a block here called glide, right? So now it's at that position. Don't forget, you want to put some wait time in between so that you see all the different movements, because if you don't put wait time, you will only see the end movement. All right, so if I choose glide for 1 second, and remember, moving in the X direction is this way, moving in the Y direction is up and down, so I want to keep the Y the same. Let's move it to, have it glide to 240. So it was at negative 240. Let's have it go all the way to the opposite end. And we're going to say, let's say that it takes 3 seconds. All right, so now when we click it, the car is going to just evenly glide. And that's fine if we're looking at the middle of a scene and there's traffic passing by because they've already been moving. But if the car is just taking off, we want to have it come in more slowly, then get to that main speed at a faster rate, and then slow down to stop, right? Just like we talked about. So instead, let's change this a little bit. While it's accelerating, we can have it go to negative 150. And we can say that's going to take 3 seconds. That's going to be a much slower start. So we don't have to bring it there. If we click on it, now it's going to come out really slow. Now after that 3 seconds, what do we want it to do? So let's give it some wait time. We don't want the car to really stop, so we're just going to do 0.1, which is one of the smallest waits you can do. You could actually go to 0.0 something, and then we'll have it glide for 1 second to positive 150. And let's see what that does. Now the car starts out slow, and then it starts moving faster. Now that's not a very smooth transition. I would put more in between here and have them get faster and faster. So for example, one of the things we can do is, let's say it's going to wait for a second, and then instead of gliding for 3 seconds to negative 150, let's have it glide for 2 seconds to negative 200. Then we can have it glide for 1 second to negative 150. So now it's gone 40 in 2 seconds. It's going to go another 50 in 1 second. So that's going to be faster. And then we could have another step to get to the 150, or even more steps if we needed them. Let's duplicate those, put them on the bottom. We'll go just to 150. Okay, so if we go 100, we're going twice as fast here as this one, so that should be okay. Except I don't want to go that far ahead because then the car, we won't see this slow down. So let's go to 100. So now when we click on it, we wait a second. Now we're going slowly. It's going to pick up speed. It picks up more speed when it gets to that top speed. And now we got to think about slow out. So now we can duplicate that again. Alright, so let's have it go to, let's say, another second to go to 150. So that's going to slow it down a little bit right away. And then we're going to go duplicate that again. And let's say 2 seconds. So now it's going to get much slower to get to 200. Alright, so now when we click this at the beginning, so we got a little bit of slow in, it gets a little bit faster, then it accelerates, and then it slows down on the way out. Now with these little choppiness from the wait times, in order to be able to see what's going on, I think we need them. Let's just try it without the wait times. I'm going to pull those out and see if we can, because it's a glide and because we're changing speeds, let's see if we see the speed, even though we wouldn't normally see the speeds. Oh, we do want that first 1 second in there. Otherwise we won't see it go back to that one position. So I'm just going to pull these. Take a look and see what happens if we can do this without the wait time. Okay, so now if I click all this, it's going to go back to that position. Okay, so yeah, it's a little smoother without the wait time. So I'm going to get rid of those. We don't need those. So using the glide, and you can even take smaller sections to make it smoother. The more you put in as you're easing in and the more you put in as you're easing out, the better the effect is going to look. Alright, so we have a car that is accelerating faster, then it moves at a steady speed, and then it goes slow out again. So again, this is a very simple project. I would like to see you do something a little bit more complex for full credit. But I want to see you demonstrate the concept of slow in and slow out. Alright, have a great day everybody, and enjoy the week. Remember, this is a